Hi guys, I just really want to bring you a very brief video of the basics when it comes to eco dyeing. In front of me I have a big pot. In there is where the water and the eco dyeing is going to take place. I have a couple of tiles, some bulldog clips. In my case I've just got lining paper which you can get quite cheaply from a hardware store. I have got to share with you some leaves, and also we're going to discuss some mordants. First of all, we need to have a pot big enough to place our tiles into. These tiles are going to trap our paper and our leaves. We need the bulldog clips to keep everything closed. You do not want to make a too thick a little parcel to go in. Health and safety, bear in mind you're going to be dealing with boiling leaves up. The pot that you use is not going to be used for food preparation. That needs to be ruled out from the beginning. Right, what's going inside my pot? Well, I'm going to put water. I'm not going to put anything else but plain water in. If you use it from your own personal tap, bear in mind if you had hard water, soft water, you could use spring water that can be bottled and brought, or you can collect rainwater. Each one of these elements is going to slightly change the end results. In my case, haphazardness is not a problem, but bear that in mind. What we need to do is make a very simple sandwich, but we need to talk about some mordants. Now, the way that Caroline Bell taught her particular lesson was for us to have an opportunity to use an acid. In her case, we used a copper sulfate, which I have made at home, and you can do the same. I've just taken a very simple, I've just got an empty jar here. You will notice that there is a blue hue going on here. Now, in this jam jar, basically is some copper items which I've got. These are labels that go out in the garden, and a bit of copper wire. It is 50% water and 50% vinegar. It has been left on a ledge. It does smell. Be very aware of that. It's I haven't put a lid on. It is slightly unpleasant because obviously the vinegar's in there. But it's been on the windowsill for a fortnight, and I've now made my own little version of copper sulfate, which I'm going to share with you how we cover the paper, and this is the transformation that you can get from actually offering different mordants prior to going into your boiling water will change the outcome and the coloration of your leaves. We also use an iron. If you use iron, it will make a very dark, very black will be your results. And then an alkaline, you can also hit it purely with vinegar. So I've got some leaves here. Some of them I cannot name for you because I do apologise. These were the actual samples of leaves that were given on the actual day that I did the workshop with Caroline Bell. I've had them in the freezer because different times of years, as the seasons go through, you are going to get different colours from your actual leaves. And so we've got a variation inside. I mean, I know about eucalyptus, I know about oak, I know about dogwood, and sometimes what you'll discover is that certain leaves are better on paper than they are on fabric, or vice versa. So don't expect there to be a constant crossover. So I'm just going to get a couple of large leaves out. Now, using one of your set mordants, you actually liberally paint across the lining paper. So you dip into your brush and make sure that this is all sodden with the wet mordant. Once that is done, you want to take your leaves and place that in a sandwich, in my case in my lining paper. What I've cunningly done is carefully cut my paper to fit my tiles. I don't want it overflowing because we're going to need the bulldog clips to actually pin this down. Now bear in mind that this should be wet with mordant, and also the side that you're about to place on top. So 2 sheets of paper are going to get covered, soaked in the mordant. They're going to be sandwiched together, and then you build up a complete set on a very similar process. So we can now, if we want to, put on as just a spare sheet of paper. If you've got a thin paper, you could actually put something in the centre, and that may well print, that may well not. But in this case, I put it down yet again, wet it, stick to the same mordant throughout. Okay, so if you're going to do, in this case, the copper, you need to make sure that this whole bundle is all literally the copper. We'll put more leaves into this area. Let me have a little look what I've got in here. I mean, there's some nice decorative little ones in my pile. I've got a bit of maple going on here, and you may recognise the leaves more so than myself. And it also depends, you might wish to put certain things one way up. I put one way up, one the other. It's really up to you, it's very random. Then I'm going to take my tiles. Imagine that I've put more in here. Down they go into the tiles. Then I come along, take the bulldog clips, and this is where I discover if I can or can't. Place your bulldog clips round 4 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then take your tiles. This is already boiling theoretically with plain water. It goes inside the pot. Careful, it's hot, it gets left. Timer ticks away for approximately half an hour, give or take. Out it comes, let it cool down. Off comes the bulldog clips. Then you get the opportunity to open up and see what your finished results are. If you're not happy with your results, and you can then again, so put these out, say like you've got your results, you've seen different colours. What you can do is then, if you wish to, with a clean brush, actually add an iron solution, and you will see that you will make it very much darker. Or you can add it some vinegar, and that will make it much browner and orange. So these are just things to bear in mind, what I learnt when I was with Caroline Bell. And I would suggest, if you want to do your homework, don't forget libraries. Go into a library and look up. You can get yourself a wealth of information without actually having to outlay physically on a payment scheme. Or I will recommend the book that I have in my hand. I'm going to bring it over. I do recommend this Wild Colour. This book is a complete guide to making and using natural dyes. It is by Jenny Dean. I do think it is a very, very helpful book. It has an awful lot of wealth of information. It varies from country to country. So I'm in the UK, but all in all, it tells you how to make mordants, natural mordants. I mean, I have been collecting oak galls, and I understand now that you can use rhubarb leaves. It's amazing what plants are out there that can be used as mordants. But for the moment, that's where we are, and hopefully if there's any more questions, I will answer as best I possibly can. Cheers guys, catch up with you soon. Bye bye.